least 3 sons and 3 grandchildren of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh have been killed in an Israeli air attack on a Gaza refugee camp. Ismail Haniyeh, speaking to Al Jazeera, identified his slain children as Hosam, Amir, and Mohammed. He lamented the loss, emphasizing the toll the war has taken on his family, with dozens of relatives already killed. Despite the personal tragedy, Haniyeh remained resolute, asserting that through the sacrifices of martyrs, hope and freedom for their people are forged. On another front, the Israeli Air Force conducted strikes on several Lebanese towns, including Naqoura, Yarin, and Al-Ma'ashab, as reported by the Lebanese news agency. Hezbollah and Israeli forces have engaged in exchanges across Lebanon's southern frontier, escalating regional tensions. Iran's supreme leader condemned Muslim governments for purportedly aiding Israel during the Gaza conflict. He urged all Muslim nations to sever ties with Israel, warning of dire consequences otherwise. In a significant development, US President Joe Biden has criticized Israel's actions in Gaza, urging for an immediate ceasefire. Biden described the ongoing military operations as a mistake, signaling a shift in US policy towards the conflict.
I think what he's doing is a mistake. I don't agree with his approach. I think it's outrageous that those 3 vehicles were hit by drones and taken out on a highway where it wasn't like it was along the shore. It wasn't like there was a convoy moving there, etc. So what I'm calling for is for the Israelis to just call for a ceasefire, allow for the next 6-8 weeks total access to all food and medicine going into the country. I've spoken with everyone from the Saudis to the Jordanians, to the Egyptians. They're prepared to move in. They're prepared to move this food in. And I think there's no excuse to not provide for the medical and the food needs of those people. They should be done now. Well, it suggested that we're examining whether or not I have that power. I would have that power under the legislation when the border has over 500,000 people, 5,000 people a day trying to cross the border because you can't manage it, slow it up. There's no guarantee that I have that power all by myself without legislation. And some have suggested I should just go ahead and try it. And if I get shut down by the court, I get shut down by the court. But we're trying to work through that right now. Well, I hope the legacy is that I kept my word, that I said that the reason I was running was to help change the life of ordinary people and reduce the prospect of war.
The human cost of the conflict continues to rise, with over 33,000 Palestinians killed and 76,000 wounded in Israeli attacks since October 7th. Amidst global celebrations for Eid al-Fitr, marking the end of Ramadan, concerns loom over the ongoing crisis in Gaza, overshadowing joyous reunions and festivities. In Pakistan, Chief of Army Staff General Asim Munir emphasized the importance of safeguarding peace, offering prayers at the front line and receiving briefings on border security measures. President Asif Ali Zardari urged immediate international intervention to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, condemning Israel's actions and advocating for Palestinian rights. Meanwhile, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, denounces Israel and the West, promising retaliation for attacks on Iranian interests and criticizing US and UK support for the conflict. In Turkey, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan vows to continue advocating for Palestinian rights, highlighting Turkey's efforts to provide humanitarian aid despite Israeli restrictions. As Eid celebrations unfold worldwide, the plight of Palestinians remains a pressing concern, drawing attention to the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza. In the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, tensions remain high as both sides continue their military maneuvers. Russian forces have made minor gains on Ukraine's eastern front, consolidating their advances since the fall of Avdiivka in mid-February. Meanwhile, Ukraine has largely maintained its defensive positions while launching strikes on Russian military bases. The pressure on Ukrainian defenders has intensified with the use of Russian glide bombs, which Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba highlighted, emphasizing the need to counter them by targeting the aircraft that carry them. According to reports, Ukrainian drones targeted several Russian airfields, inflicting significant damage and casualties, further escalating the conflict. Russian ground forces have renewed efforts to advance westward from Bakhmut, pushing towards strategic objectives such as 𝐃𝐚𝐰𝐬 and Bidenb. Additionally, Russian forces have expanded their presence west of Avdiivka, seizing control of surrounding villages and engaging in skirmishes with Ukrainian troops. In response to the conflict, Ukraine has been targeting Russian energy facilities and naval assets, aiming to disrupt Russian operations and reduce their capabilities. Amidst the military escalation, Russia has issued warnings against NATO involvement in Ukraine, with Russian defense officials expressing concerns about the destabilizing effects of Western intervention.